The system is what you do, the goal is what you want. But you have to fall in love with the process and not with the product in order for you to really anchor yourself to that new identity. Your system does have to be reflective of the goals that you got set. I don't think one of them is greater than the other. You can have shitty goals and you can also have shitty systems if you don't fine tune either of them. That's why you're supposed to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. You see what I'm saying? Like time based. Your environment is going to ultimately influence your discipline. So a lot of the times you might think that you have a discipline problem, like you're weak, or I am no good about temptation. Like every time I see a cookie, it's just, I gotta have it. But it's not even about that. It's your environment. If you live in a bakery, then gang, it's gonna be real hard for you to not to eat cookies every day. And some of the times we don't have control over our environments, but there's a lot of things that we do have control over if we just shifted our mindset and looked at those. Like, you eat, you move, you think, just like your environment sets you up to do. Your environment's either going to set you up for success or set you up for failure. And that's where your standards are going to come into play at. You got to have higher standards in order for you to be able to navigate the intricacies and the challenges of your environment, because there's going to be things that come along the way and try to take you off of your path. But you got to have your standards set. Like, your standards have to be locked the fuck in. Your standards have to be not negotiable in order for you to really thrive in any environment. But you also have to ensure yourself that you're placing yourself in environments that are conducive to your goals. I mean, I just want you to imagine this. Like, I don't think that everybody that's in the hood or from the hood are bad people. I really don't. I'm from the hood. You see what I'm saying? I don't think that I was necessarily a bad person. I do feel as though there were some things and situations because of that environment that led to me experiencing a lot of moral ambiguity, because a lot of the things that were right in situations in that environment, such as being violent and responding with violence and toughness and stonewalling and being cold and not showing your, a lot of those things that you had to do in certain environments, they weren't necessarily conducive to when I moved to a place of life where I wasn't in that environment, and I needed to be less stonewallish and I needed to be more open and vulnerable and things like that in order to thrive in different types of situations and environments and things like that. So again, you can have somebody around you in your environment that is comfortable with seeing you in a certain light. They're comfortable with seeing the fat version of you, or they're comfortable with seeing the drunk version of you, or the high version of you, because that's what they are accustomed to getting from you. And when you start trying to challenge that narrative and challenge that status quo for yourself, they're going to try to utilize comfort as a means of control. They're going to try to utilize the version that, like, because they're used to that version of you. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't always out of malice, but some of the times, like, when you start making these changes for yourself, you'll notice that people in your environment aren't always supportive of you. It's because they are that environment. You see what I'm saying? They haven't had anything act upon them. They haven't had a force act upon them. They don't have what you have inside of you acting on them. That's driving your new behavior to your new outcome. That's what you're trying to accomplish. So misery loves company. If you're around people who want to do bad for themselves and be depressed and be drunk all the time, then they're not going to really fuck with the version of you that's upbeat and optimistic and turning the bottle down. You see what I'm saying? Like, same way where if you're in an environment that is set up with bullshit food that don't go with your nutrition goals, that's not going to help nourish your body in a certain type of way, when you start speaking out against that and choosing differently for yourself, you may be met with those people who are comfortable with you in the way that you were, that wasn't speaking out and trying to educate them on different choices that you're making. They might be used to you and they might be more comfortable with you being the other way. So you have to be prepared for that, because at the end of the day, you have to change your inputs. If you do not change your inputs, your outputs are likely going to always remain the same. You're always going to be the same person if you don't start putting different things into yourself mentally. You got to pour into your own glass. You see what I'm saying? You have to pour into your glass with some of the things that you want and that you see for yourself. But Yeah, I really intended on coming on here for just a couple of minutes to kind of get some of these things out because I enjoy yapping. Like, this is what I enjoy doing, and I really enjoy the fact that y'all will jump on here and listen to me in whatever quantities. You know what I'm saying? I don't take any of that for granted, whether if it's 40 followers, 50, 40,000. I still feel as though if y'all rocking with me, I'm rocking with y'all. And I'm going to get on here and do nothing short of tell you the absolute 100 on everything that I come across. And again, I've been rereading this book lately and revisiting some of these topics, and they've really been hitting home because I have reached a point where I did need to recalibrate myself and realign with goals that I had already achieved. I did cross a lot of thresholds. I had let a lot of things go that weren't serving me anymore or serving the version of myself that I wanted to be. So I just needed to recalibrate, and I've been really kind of focusing in on that this week. And I am about at that point where I see where I was off on a few things that needed adjusted, and now I can course correct and get back to the money, get back to the fitness, get back to the health. You see what I'm saying? And there are some areas I was being rigid at where I needed to be flexible. Some areas I was being a little too flexible where I needed to stand on business a lot more. So yeah, stay locked in as usual. I don't want this phone to die on me like I did earlier. So I'm gonna eat my lunch real quick and get back to work, try to go make some sales, you know what I'm saying? And in the meantime, between time though, stay true to what you do, stay locked in on what your goals and your purposes are. Don't let nobody tell you differently. Don't let nobody take you off of your square. Love.